Hello, my name is Deanna Higgins, and I'm a benefit specialist here with the New Hampshire Retirement System. The purpose of this video is to walk you through the Group 2 application packet. Now, please keep in mind Group 2 members are police and fire. So if you are an employee or a teacher, please refer to the Group 1 video. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to see in your application packet is the checklist. This is a really great tool because it enables you to determine what you actually need to submit to the retirement system. You'll notice at the top that it does indicate the 30 to 90-day filing window. Essentially, you cannot file more than 90 days out or less than 30 days out. What I would suggest, if you're not sure what those deadlines are, is that you can go to the NHRS.org website, and those are actually listed. We are going to be covering all of these forms today. Some may not necessarily be pertinent to you, and if that is the case, I will let you know ahead of time. Let's go ahead and get started with the application. So the first form in the packet is the actual application for service or vested deferred retirement for Group 2 members. At the very top, you're going to see two options that you can select. There's service retirement and vested deferred retirement. Now, service retirement is for those members who are still currently in an active contributing status with an NHRS employer. Vested deferred retirement refers to the members who have been vested with a retirement system but have since left NHRS contributing employment and are now filing at a later date. Section 1 is just general information. However, there is a few things that I do want to point out. The last NHRS covered employer is the who you worked for. So either if you're currently working, it's who you're working for now, or if you're a vested deferred member, it's the last NHRS contributing employer that you worked for. And the title of position held would be the job title that matches that. Where it says name of spouse, you'll notice here it does say with maiden name if applicable. So to give you an example, if your wife's name is Jane Doe, but her maiden name was Smith, you'd be writing Jane Smith here. The date of termination of NHRS covered employment for an active member is going to be the last day that you're planning on working. Now, as long as you work through the 15th of any month, you will get service credit for that month. Keep in mind if the 15th falls on a weekend day, you do need to work through that following Monday to have that credit. If you are a vested deferred member, it's the last day that you were working for the NHRS contributing employer. You're always going to have your retirement allowance become effective on the 1st of any given month, and you do see we have pre-filled that for you down there. And that's really it for this section. Section 2, that one's a little more difficult because this is where you're going to sign for your option. Now, if you're not familiar with these options, you can actually visit the website and find the benefit payment options video that we created. However, as a Group 2 member, you have an additional benefit that's available to you, and this is called the automatic spousal continuance allowance. What this means is that if you are legally married at the time of your retirement and at your time of passing, that person is eligible for 50% of your pension at no cost to you. So the reason I bring this up is because you'll notice on here options 2 and 4A are 100% survivorship options. If you elect one of those options, you will actually forfeit the automatic spousal continuance because we're not going to pay more than 100%. It's not that you can't select those, it's just if you do, you won't have the automatic spousal continuance. Section 3 is where you're going to designate your primary beneficiary. For a single primary beneficiary, they're going to be listed in Part A. If you have multiple primary beneficiaries, you're going to list them in Part B. You'll notice we have space for 3 beneficiaries. If you have more than 3 beneficiaries, you're going to initial right here, and you're going to attach an addendum with the remaining beneficiary information. Please make sure it's all the information that you see listed here and that it is notarized. Now, one thing I want to point out with this is the distribution percentage always needs to total 100%. If you have 3 primary beneficiaries, it does need to be 33, 33, 34. So you do have to pick the favorite. The next section, Section 4, is the designation of contingent beneficiaries. Now, a contingent beneficiary is only going to come into play if something happens where both the member and the primary beneficiary or beneficiaries have passed away, and there's any of the members' money left in the system. What happens is most members are going to run through this within approximately the first 5 to 6 years of retirement. However, if something happens to all parties except the contingent beneficiary and there is any of this money, we're going to pay it out to the contingent beneficiary or beneficiaries in a one-time lump sum. Again, we only have space for 2 here. So if you do want to have more than that, you're just going to initial and include that addendum. Section 5 is for a designation of beneficiary on the Group 2 death benefits. Now, with a Group 2 death benefit, if you were a contributing Group 2 member prior to June 30th of 1988, it is a $10,000 death benefit. If you were a contributing Group 2 member on or after July 1st of 1988 or prior to July 2nd of 1993, it is $3,600. So if you were a Group 2 member on or after July 1st of 1993, you do not need to complete this section as this does not pertain to you. If you are unsure, you can contact the retirement system and we'd be happy to confirm that. Section 6 here is where you're going to have your signature notarized by either a notary or a justice of the peace. You're going to print your name, sign your name, and put the date in which you're signing, and the notary is going to handle this section down here. The next form we're covering is the mandatory acknowledgement/certification form. Now in section 1, you're going to put your name and the last 4 digits of your social. Section 2 must be completed in the presence of a notary public or justice of the peace. Now, if you are not legally married at the time you are filing for retirement, you are going to fill out Part B, the member certification. If you are legally married, you are actually not going to be signing this form. Your spouse is going to sign in Part A in front of the notary or JP. What they are certifying to is that they are legally married to you and that they are aware of the option that you've selected on the application. So because of that, this form needs to be completed after the application is completed. One very important thing I want to point out with Section 3 acknowledgement that the notary completes is this line right here, name of person making statement in Section 2 above. If the spouse is signing this form, that's actually going to be your spouse's name because they're the ones that are certifying, again, that they're married to you and aware of the option you've selected. The next form in the packet is the electronic direct deposit EDD form. In Section 1, you're going to be checking off new retiree and putting your date of retirement. Section 2 is just general information. If you do not have an email address, you can leave that blank. And if you do not have 2 phone numbers, you do not need to list them twice. Section 3, you're going to be checking off pension benefit. Now, if you are part of the additional contributions program and you are electing a monthly benefit, you're going to also select additional contributions. We're going to discuss that in a little bit. Section 4 is where you're going to put your account information. Now, we do require direct deposit, so you do have to have a primary account. You're going to select checking or savings and put in the bank name, routing number, and account number. As you can see here, we can split the check into 3 separate accounts. So if you wanted to have an additional portion tucked away into savings or another checking account, you would be completing additional accounts 1 and 2 as applicable. It's the same information, but you also need to determine whether or not you want us to hold a specific dollar amount to be put into that account each month or a percentage of each pension payment. You're also going to sign and date in Section 5. The next form that we're covering is the W-4P withholding certificate for pension or annuity payments. So this is where you're going to elect your tax withholding. Down at the bottom, you're going to put your first name and middle initial, last name, full social security number, and mailing address. Now, I will tell you, you do not have a claim or identification number, so you're going to leave that blank. If you have a P.O. box as your home address, you can list that on this form. The next section is where you're going to actually determine your withholding. If you do not want us to withhold federal taxes, you're going to check the box on line 1 and then sign and date. If you do want us to withhold federal taxes, you're actually going to skip to line 2. First, you need to select your marital status. You're either claiming single, married, or married but withhold at higher single rate. You also need to enter your number of allowances. This number can be anywhere from 0 to 99. The lower the number, the more that we withhold. If you want an additional amount to be taken on top of that, you're going to complete Section 3 and put that flat extra amount you want taken each month. And then you will sign and date. If you have any questions with regards to the tax withholding, you're going to want to consult a tax advisor or CPA, as we cannot provide any tax advice here with the retirement system. Please also keep in mind that the banking information and the tax information can be changed at any time. So you're never locked into what you've completed. All you need to do if you find we're withholding too much or not enough is complete a new W-4P form and we will absolutely go ahead and adjust that. The next form in your packet is going to be the Form W-9, Request for Taxpayer Identification Number and Certification. Now, please keep in mind you only need to complete this form if you have not already provided us a copy of your Social Security card. If we already have that on file, or if you've already provided that copy or are planning on providing that copy, you do not need to complete this form. You can toss it. If you can't locate that card for some reason, you can certainly fill out this form in place of that. You're going to start by putting your name on line 1. In line 3, you're going to check off individual/sole proprietor or single member LLC. Lines 5 and 6 are your mailing address. And then you're going to complete your full Social Security number here and sign and date. The next form that we have in our packet is only pertaining to state employees. So if you are employed through a municipality, you are not required to complete this form. If you are a state employee, you are going to complete Part 1. The top information is just general information about you. The next section is going to be your dates in place of state employment only. So if you had any municipality employment, you will not be listing that here. You're also going to check off any applicable service credit boxes that you see listed here in this section that apply to you. And you're going to sign and date. The New Hampshire Retirement System is going to complete Section 2. And then this form is going to actually be completed in Part 3 by the Risk Management Unit. The final form in our packet is the NHRS Payment Options for Additional Contributions. Now, you only need to complete this form if you are part of the Additional Contributions program. If you are not, you do not need to complete this form. If you are unsure of whether or not you're part of this program, feel free to contact the retirement system and we'd be happy to confirm that for you. If you are part of the program, you do need to complete Section 3 here. You're going to be putting your name and the last 4 digits of your Social Security number here. And then you need to determine whether or not you want a lump sum to be paid to you or if you're looking for the monthly annuity payment. Now, a couple of things about this. The purpose of the additional contributions is to either get you to 50% of your average final compensation or to offset any early retirement reductions. So the reason I bring this up is because there are times where you may have additional contributions with the retirement system that are required to be refunded to you. If you are unsure of your status with this, you may want to contact the retirement system just to make sure that you are eligible for the monthly pension. If you decide to have a lump sum paid to you, you're going to skip over here to Section 4, and you have to tell us whether or not you want it paid directly to you in a form of a check, you want a portion of it rolled over and the rest paid to you, or if you want everything to be rolled over. If you elect a rollover option, you do need to also complete the trustee-to-trustee election form, and we will need a letter of acceptance from the company or organization that's going to be accepting these funds. If you elect to have a monthly annuity pension, you're going to skip down to Section 5, and here's where you're going to sign for your option. Now, what's important about this is you do not need to pick the same option that you've selected on the application. And then you should also be receiving a special tax notice if you've received the paperwork from us. If not, you can go on the website to get this. It's a great resource to determine anything regarding the payments and taxes. So if you're going to take the payments or if you're going to roll it over, it does give you some basic information. Once you've read that, you do need to sign here and put in your current mailing address. Now, one very important thing I want to mention about the additional contributions is that this is not actually paid out until your benefit has been finalized, which can take about 4 to 6 months once you're on retirement. So don't expect this to be paid in the first deposit. It's going to take a little bit of time before this gets paid out. However, once you are finalized, you will get a final official notice from us, and it will confirm what you're going to be receiving for the additional contributions. If it's a lump sum, you will earn interest up until the day that we cut the check. If it is a monthly payment, it will be retroactive to your date of retirement. This concludes our video. I hope that you find this helpful. Should you have any questions or need any additional information, you can contact the New Hampshire Retirement System via phone at 603-410-3677, or you can visit our website, which is www.nhrs.org. Thank you very much.